Yo, what's up, guys? It's been a while. Top of the morning to you. The biggest things in the news today are Edward Snowden, the NSA leaker, and Al Qaeda being armed by Obama in Syria. Oh, I mean rebels in Syria. No, Al Qaeda. Anyways, here we go. Man-gina. Chris Hayes. That's a good cold beer. This just struck me, so had to share it. Shout out to that guy on YouTube, Pine Grove something or another, and he's a pretty funny cat. He does Shaping This Inferno, a wandering culture in their politically incorrect commentary. It is pretty funny, but this bit of cultural Marxism just jumped right out at me. So here we go.
It's my wife. Spend time together as a family. And as I was going to bed last night, thinking about what an awesome Father's Day I had, because I got to spend more time with my family, I remembered this incredible study that Pew had done. What you see there is how mothers and fathers spent their time nearly 40 years ago. Fathers spent most of their time working, very little time doing housework, and even less time with their kids, only 2.5 hours a week on average. Moving up toward present day, it's still an unequal society, but it is a vastly more equal one. The time fathers spend with their kids has nearly tripled since 1965. The numbers from the 1960s show us the complete divide in roles of parents of the pre-feminist era. Men go outside the home and earn money, women look after the children, do housework. And this was how mothers and fathers spent their lives. The great demand of social revolution that was feminism was to equalize those roles, to push them more in line with each other. And today, we think about the feminist revolution as being largely defined by women transitioning to work outside the home. It's borne out in the data. Mothers spend an average of 21 hours per week at work, up from 8 hours per week in 1965. Another recent Pew survey showed that in 4 out of 10 households, women are the breadwinners. It's a concept so foreign to many in the male power structure that it made conservative heads explode.
When we're watching society dissolve around us, Warren, what do you think?
You're seeing, I think, systemically, larger than the political stories that we follow every day, something going terribly wrong in American society, and it's hurting our children.
Lou, I'm so used to liberals telling conservatives that they're anti-science, but this is liberals who defend this and say it's not a bad thing are very anti-science. When you look at biology, look at the natural world, the roles of a male and a female in society and other animals, the male typically is the dominant role, the female is not antithesis or it's not competing, it's a complementary role.
Bottom line, it could undermine our social order.
The evidence, though, tells us these dudes should really calm down. The Pew study shows us the opposite of feminism killing the family unit and our social order. Feminism made the family stronger. The amount of time both parents spend with their kids is double what it was in 1965. So while the primary takeaway of feminism is how the movement affected women's lives, the other side of it is the tripling of the time dads get to spend with their kids. It's an incredible transformation both for men and for their kids, a huge net benefit in human happiness. And I think about walking around my neighborhood in New York, seeing all these new dads my age with kids on bikes or being pushed in strollers or hanging off them in some baby harness contraption. And I think we have all been blessed with the gift of a society whose confines and restraints and structures were broken apart before we became dads. This is the great gift of feminism to men. It took a sledgehammer to the most stultifying parts of patriarchy, including a vision of fatherhood in which dads were expected to be distant, stoic, removed creatures from their kids' lives. And we have now a new and better social model, one that encourages fathers to be equal parents and nudges them towards spending more of their time doing something that is going to make them happier, spending time with their kids. So to all the dads out there, happy belated Father's Day. And to all the mothers, grandmothers, and daughters and feminist agitators, thank you for helping to make it possible.
Alright, this guy, this is a propaganda station, any way you fucking slice it. But he talks about this shit like it happened in a vacuum. First of all, the last bit there, I believe you said it, the time fathers spend with their children now is triple the amount. And apparently that was all due to feminism, right? Like, it happens in a vacuum. The only thing that affected that boosted the amount of free time a man had was because of feminism. Having a two income family, I guess, or whatever. That's what he's getting at. God fucking damn. I mean, hello, productivity, technology. Instead of a man having to put shit in a wheelbarrow and move it across the warehouse or whatever, they now have pallet jacks powered by propane. And instead of a man having to climb up a telephone pole to fix said wiring and da-da-da-da, he now has a fucking hydraulic bucket truck. I mean, just does it take no economic development in terms of capital goods that increases society's productivity? Going from a typewriter to a fucking word processor, for example, and then on to fucking your full out BlackBerry and shit, increases productivity, which allows you to do more in less time, and as a personal option of whether you would want to choose to do more beyond that and make more money or spend more time on leisure. I mean, it's the Robin Crusoe argument. When you have no tools, all of your time is spent trying to put food in your mouth and clothes on your back and stay out of bad weather. As you have more tools, more efficient tools at your disposal, you can afford more time to more leisure activity. I'm pretty sure fathers in the past didn't work till sunup and sundown because they liked working sunup to sundown 7 days a week, 365 days a year, and hardly spend any time with their family. They did that because they had to put food on the fucking table, and it wasn't that fucking easy. The house doesn't maintain itself. You have to have resources to take care of things. It's like, oh, but patriarchy was, in the way, so we broke that barrier down. I mean, just fucking straight up cultural Marxist fucking feminist shit that came out of the head of Antonio Gramsci. And I mean, it's basically just creating stress. They introduced this stupid shit into society just to create stress. Anywhere they could stress, divide and conquer strategy. So they could put their little fucking fulcrum down next to it and drop a fucking pike in there and start wedging and starting to divide people. Thus, when there's division, it's easier to conquer. They're diverted, they're not fucking paying attention to everything or to the important shit. They have to deal with the shit that's in their face. And this goes back to Aaron Russo, the filmmaker. He did Fascism to Freedom. He's talking about his Rockefeller friend, Nick Rockefeller. Oh yeah, the feminist movement. Yeah, we did that. So that, this is supposed, right? You don't know if this shit's true. But the Rockefeller told Aaron Russo, the filmmaker, he said, oh yeah, the feminist movement, we did that. We were behind that to get women in the workplace so we could tax them too, instead of just only taxing the men. And then that created, the children needed a babysitting role, so that pushed them more into schools. And we were able to brainwash them in our cultural Marxist ways and fucking have them swear allegiance to the fucking flag and not even have a course on the Constitution at all, and this whole notion about just having more time at home. I bet the amount of time actually spent with the kid is less by any parent, period, because they're out fucking on that rat wheel. And another angle of this fucking feminist movement, equal pay, right? You know, equal pay for equal work. Well, Walter Block, and of course Thomas Sowell does too, but Walter Block, and I'll attach a link to that video below, is you know, blows that shit out of the fucking water, because they never account for in their data, in their statistic matrix, for never married women only versus men, the single breadwinner. Like when you compare never married women to never married men, the income is the same. And the reason why women statistically are paid less is because they breed and have children, and that takes time to raise children. You can't work. You know, there's only 24 hours in a day. And if you're wiping noses and changing diapers and washing fucking clothes and otherwise dealing with children, the act of raising them, you don't have that amount of time to work at a fucking job and actually earn income. That's where the statistics, you can look at them any way you want, and if people aren't paying attention to the details, you can skew them to make a false impression of what the fuck the deal is. I mean, that's the role between the species of human. The woman is the child bearer and raiser by nature. What do you think those things on her chest are for? Just looks? I mean, come on. Why do you think men have stronger upper body, you know, muscle structure and whatnot? Because they're the fucking defenders, they're the providers, they're the hunter-gatherers by the differences in the sexes of the species. There's a reason for this shit. And any fucking way, this makes me fucking want to throw up, because it's everywhere. All this shit. This place is upside fucking down, and it's gonna be that way for a while. Alright guys, fucking make sure your beer is cold and all that stuff. Catch you next time.